Okay, today we are plunging into a real classic, The Hobbit. But we're not just doing a straight read-through.
No, definitely not. We're actually digging behind the scenes.
Exactly. We're tunneling into the notes, the manuscript fragments, all those little details that really built Tolkien's world.
Right. That's the mission here. We're pulling mostly from these enhanced editions of The Hobbit, the ones with Tolkien's own annotations, bits of early drafts, forewords, all that good stuff.
It gives you such a unique view, doesn't it?
It really does. You
Yeah.
see Middle-earth not as this, finished thing, but as a story still taking shape, sometimes totally by accident.
So our goal today is to pinpoint those moments, those, like, creative choices or even production hiccups. That turned what started as maybe a whimsical kid's story into this huge, enduring epic. And, of course, tracking Bilbo. How he went from this very respectable, kind of reluctant hobbit
To a hero.
Yeah.
The barrel rider, no less. Hashtag the genesis of unexpected adventure.
Right. Let's start at the very beginning. That iconic first line. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Tolkien, famously, he didn't even remember writing it down.
It's amazing, isn't it? Pure accidental spark. He apparently just scribbled it on a blank exam paper he was grading.
Just like that.
Just like that. Now, the sentence might have been an accident, but the actual story that grew out of tales he told his kids, probably starting back in, 1929 maybe?
And having that live audience, his kids, actually shaped it.
Oh, massively. That's where we get that fantastic anecdote, maybe the best origin story for world building ever. The family fact checker.
His son, Michael, right?
Yeah.
Who was only like 4 or 5.
Yep, and he'd interrupt his father's storytelling for, and this is Tolkien's phrase, petty consistency.
It's brilliant. The creator of this vast mythology getting called out by his toddler.
And for things like, Bilbo's front door changing color. Was it blue or green? Or Thorin's tassel gold or silver? Tolkien actually wrote down that he muttered, "Damn the boy."
You can just picture it.
And he had to stop, walk over, make a note, just to keep the details straight for a 5-year-old.
But that moment, that damn the boy moment, that's kind of where the meticulousness of Middle-earth begins, isn't it? It's not just a fairy tale anymore.
Exactly. It forced him to track the details, which loops back to why Bilbo's life before the quest feels so real, so defined by, comfort.
Total comfort. The Hobbit hole itself, it's all about ease. That perfectly round green door, shiny brass knob.
Right. The tube-like hall, tiled floors, pegs for coats everywhere because, as the book says, the Hobbit was fond of visitors.
And the key detail, no stairs, everything on one level, pure Hobbit convenience.
The absolute height of it. Which makes his reaction to the idea of adventure so perfect. Nasty, disturbing, uncomfortable things make you late for dinner.
Classic Bilbo. But that comfortable life gets interrupted, doesn't it? By Gandalf's mark on the door.
The mark. That was basically the job posting, wasn't it? Written in the trade language.
Yeah, what did it say exactly?
Ugh.
Some, like...
Burglar wants a good job, plenty of excitement, and reasonable reward. Although Tolkien did offer a slightly more polite version, too.
Oh, yeah.
Expert treasure hunter.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Well...
Either way, Bilbo was suddenly in the market for a very unexpected career change. Hashtag the shifting plans and secret doors.
So, when the dwarves finally lay out the plan, it's clear from the start. This is about stealth, not strength.
Yeah.
Burglary.
Absolutely. It was never about charging the front gate of the Lonely Mountain, and you see this really clearly in one of the very early manuscript fragments. Gandalf wasn't even Gandalf yet.
Who was he then?
He was called Bledorthin in that draft.
Bledorthin. Okay.
Yeah, and Bledorthin lays out the strategy, basically says, look, warriors are few, swords are blunt, axes are for trees. Our only shot is the secret side entrance, the back door.
Because taking on Smaug directly was just impossible.
Pretty much suicide, yeah. They were completely outmatched, which makes the mats so crucial.
And the details on it. Specifically, the moon runes. Elrond is the one who figures them out in Rivendell.
Right, and that's when they learn the exact size of the secret door. 5 feet high the door, and 3 may walk abreast. That specific detail matters.
And there's another tiny detail in those runes, or rather in how Tolkien edited the runes, that becomes incredibly important later, about Durin's Day.
Oh, the bird.
Yes.
This is fascinating. The earliest version in a manuscript fragment said something like, stand by the gray stone when the crow knocks.
A crow. Okay, but he changed it.
He changed it to thrush.
Why? Why does changing the bird matter so much?
Well, think about it. A crow is generic. A thrush, specifically in Middle-earth, connects to the history of that region, Dale and the mountain. Thrushes were known to be long-lived. associated with dwarves.
Ah, so it makes the mechanism for opening the door less random.
Exactly. It's not just any bird knocking. It's a specific creature tied to the place and its history. It makes the magic or the prophecy feel more grounded, more part of the world's ecology almost. It ties it all together.
That's a level of detail.
Wow.
And speaking of details, the actual production of the map in the first book almost had its own bit of magic.
Oh, you mean the reverse printing? Yeah, that would have been amazing.
So the plan was to print the moon runes backwards on the map.
Yeah, so you, the reader, would have had to hold the page up to the light to actually read the secret message. Just like needing moonlight in the story.
Imagine being a kid and discovering that. That's incredible interactive storytelling.
Totally. But it didn't happen. Tolkien mentions a misunderstanding on the part of the blockmaker, whatever that means, and, well, cost.
Ah, budget cuts strike again. Even in Middle-earth.
Even there, the book needed to be affordable, so we lost that little piece of physical magic in the first edition. Hashtag the education of the burglar.
Okay, so the journey starts, and Bilbo's education as a burglar is, let's say, hands-on. First big test. The trolls. Bert, Tom, and William.
Right, out in the Lowlands. And this scene, it's chaotic, it's kind of funny, but it's also really important for setting up the rules of this world. Well, Bilbo and the dwarves get caught, obviously, and the trolls get into this ridiculous argument. Should they mince them, boil them, squash them flat?
And Gandalf saves the day with voices.
Exactly. He throws his voice, makes the trolls argue amongst themselves, keeps them bickering until dawn. Poof! Sunlight hits them, they turn to stone.
And that's the key takeaway, isn't it? It's not just a convenient escape.
No, it establishes a fundamental piece of Middle-earth physics, or biology, really. Trolls cannot survive sunlight. It's a hard rule. It makes the world feel consistent, like it has natural laws, even for monsters.
Okay, so lesson 1, trolls and sunlight. Lesson 2 comes pretty quickly after, in the Misty Mountains with the Goblins, and this one involves their gear.
Yeah, the swords they picked up from the trolls' horde. This is where the story really starts to connect to a much bigger history.
When the great goblin sees the swords.
Right. He immediately recognizes Glamdring and Orcrist. He knows them, calls them beater and biter.
And why is that such a big deal? They're just old swords, right?
Well, yes and no. They're elvish swords. Specifically from the ancient hidden city of Gondolin from the first age of Middle-earth.
Which connects Bilbo's little adventure to this massive ancient history that Tolkien was building elsewhere, like in the Silmarillion.
Precisely. Gondolin was destroyed thousands of years before Bilbo was even born. So when the great goblin freaks out, yelling about how these swords killed hundreds of goblins back in the day, it suddenly anchors this quest in a much deeper, much more serious mythology. It proves the world is ancient and layered.
Wow, okay. And right after that dose of serious history, Bilbo gets separated. He's alone in the dark.
Utterly alone. Falls, hits his head, and his hand just lands on something small and cold on the cave floor.
A tiny ring of cold metal.
He just pockets it. No idea what it is or what it will mean. It's the absolute definition of accidental luck, or maybe something else.
And that ring immediately comes into play in the Riddles in the Dark chapter with Gollum.
One of the most iconic scenes in fantasy, and the stakes are terrifyingly simple. Answer the riddles or get eaten.
Bilbo uses his wits here. Classic riddles, you know. What has roots as nobody sees? Voiceless it cries.
Teeth. Wind time. But it's not just knowing the answers. It's his cunning. Asking Gollum the, what have I got on my pocket? Riddle. That's what ultimately saves him. And it earns him that title he gets later on. Ring winner. Hashtag from nobody to barrel rider.
Okay, so they escape the goblins, escape the wargs, only to plunge straight into Mirkwood Forest.
Oh, Mirkwood. It's easy to just breeze past this section, but you really need to feel the weight of it, the sheer oppressive darkness.
The giant spiders, the weird moths, the black stream that makes you fall asleep and have nightmares.
And the psychological effect it has. That moment where Bilbo, desperate, climbs this enormous tree, fighting his way up just to get above the canopy and see.
Nothing but more trees. Endless forest in every direction.
Yeah. His heart just sinks. That feeling of utter hopelessness, that despair, I think that's what really forces him to change. He realizes, okay, no one's coming to rescue us. It's up to me now.
That despair fuels his transformation. From tag-along to, well, the actual burglar.
Exactly. Which leads to them getting captured again, this time by the Wood-elves. But this time, Bilbo has the ring, and he has a plan.
His burglar training finally kicks in.
It really does. He uses his invisibility, scopes out the palace, which, by the way, Tolkien notes has cleaner passages than the goblin tunnels. A nice little detail.
Ah, Even elven dungeons are tidier.
Apparently. And Bilbo manages this little espionage mission, steals the keys from the chief guard and the butler.
Who are conveniently drunk.
Very conveniently drunk on strong Dorwinian wine, which is sort of funny. The elves aren't perfect. Their guards can slack off. Bilbo exploits that weakness.
And then comes the barrels. He packs the dwarves into empty wine barrels. Or maybe butter and apple barrels. The text is a bit vague.
Right, barrels heading down river. But he forgets one crucial thing.
A barrel for himself.
Yeah, so he has to basically leap onto the last barrel as it floats away, clinging on for dear life.
And that's how he earns the name.
Barrel rider. It sounds almost silly, but it's perfect. It shows his resourcefulness, his initiative. He's not just following anymore. He's leading, even if it's by scrambling onto a barrel.
That newfound confidence, maybe even arrogance, comes out when he finally confronts Smaug.
Oh, absolutely. He uses the ring to stay hidden, but he taunts the dragon. Gives himself all these riddling titles.
Clue finder, the web cutter, the stinging fly, and of course, barrel rider.
Smaug, being a dragon, is packed with pride and vanity. He's actually sort of flattered by the riddles in Bilbo's descriptions of his magnificence.
So flattered that he does something incredibly foolish.
He rolls over to show off his impenetrable diamond waistcoat, basically saying, "Look how awesome I am."
And in that moment of pure draconic vanity,
Bilbo spots it, the one weak spot, a large bare patch on his left breast, right over the heart.
crucial information, but totally useless if Bilbo's the only one who knows it. How does the news get out?
This brings us back again to the specific, non-random nature of Middle-earth's inhabitants. The animals matter.
The thrush again.
The thrush again. An old thrush, one whose ancestors were friendly with the dwarves of the mountain, was listening. It understood Bilbo talking about the weak spot.
Okay, so the thrush hears it. But how does it tell anyone?
It flies straight to Lake Town, to a man named Bard. And Bard isn't just some random guy with a bow.
He was of the race of Dale. Why is that significant?
Because the men of Dale, descended from the original kingdom near the mountain, had this ancient connection with those thrushes. They could understand their language. It wasn't just bird squawk to Bard.
So it's destiny again.
Yeah.
Leveraging this specific ancient linguistic link between man and bird.
Precisely. The thrush delivers the critical intel, Smaug's vulnerability, and its exact location to the one person descended from the right lineage to understand it, and who happened to be a master archer. Everything clicks into place. #tag the cost of adventure.
Smaug's death. You'd think that would be the happy ending. Quest complete.
Yeah, but it almost immediately triggers the next huge conflict. The Battle of Five Armies, the dragon's gone, and suddenly everyone's focus snaps from survival to
Gold. The dragon horde.
And Thorin gets hit hard with dragon sickness, gold lust. He becomes paranoid, greedy, refuses to share any of the treasure, even with Bard and the Lake Men who lost everything, or the Elven King who came to help.
Despite their claims being pretty justified.
Absolutely justified. Dale was destroyed by Smaug. They deserved restitution. But Thorin digs in his heels, literally digs in, fortifying the mountain gate. It sets up this tragic confrontation between former allies.
And while they're all squaring off against each other,
Yeah.
an even bigger threat appeared.
The Goblins.
Yeah.
And wargs. They hear the dragon is dead, they remember their hatred for the dwarves after the great goblin was killed, and a massive army marches down from the north.
Which forces everyone's hand.
Instantly. Dwarves, men, elves.
Yeah.
They have to put aside the gold dispute and form this very reluctant alliance just to survive the goblin onslaught.
It's a brutal battle, and it comes at a high cost, especially for Thorin's line.
Yeah. We see Fili and Kili, his nephews, fall defending him as he lies mortally wounded. It underlines the sacrifice, the honor, but also the terrible price of that treasure and the quest itself.
And Bilbo, our hero, he eventually makes it back home to the Shire.
He does, only to find an auction in progress.
They're selling off his stuff.
Yeah.
His spoons, his furniture. Everyone thought he was dead.
Yep. The late Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
He literally had to buy back his own belongings. So the cost for him wasn't really material in the end, but reputational.
His neighbors thought he was odd.
Queer is the word used? He'd lost his respectability in the Shire.
But he gained something else. The respect of Gandalf, elves, dwarves, and this kind of quiet wisdom from everything he'd seen and done.
Which perfectly sets up Gandalf's final assessment years later. He tells Bilbo essentially, look, all those narrow escapes, fighting the ring, the timing of everything, that wasn't just mere luck.
He was part of something bigger.
Part of fulfilling ancient prophecies, part of a larger pattern Bilbo stumbled into but ultimately played his part in. He didn't ask for it, but he saw it through.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. Bilbo traded that comfortable, predictable respectability of the Shire for adventure, wisdom, danger, and, well, being seen as a bit strange.
He became queer, Mr. Bilbo Baggins, the barrel rider, the ring winner.
So the question to ponder is, if you had to choose a legacy, which life would you value more? The quiet respect of the hobbit who stayed home, or the strange, hard-won honor and wisdom of the one who went there and back again?